Hello, nerds, geeks, and all variants in between. I'm Tony Diane, and this is of Nerds and Geek, pop culture from a certain point of view. Today, we'll be interviewing Corissa Grant, creator and writer for Worthy Chaos Comics Redemption. We'll discover how she took roleplay and turned it into a comic book idea. Let's check it out. All right, I'm here with Corissa Grant. She's the creator and owner of Worthy Comics Redemption. Well, Worthy Comics is the company, and Worthy Redemption is the comic. I'll get it straight eventually. How you doing, Corissa?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. We'd love to have new people on Nerds and Geeks. Part of our motto is to help support and create creative endeavors such as yourself. So tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and how you got into comics eventually.
I'm Corissa Grant. I used to read comics in the 90s, but writing them, it was not intentional. I was a role player. And we role played this story for 3 years, and I just thought it was too good of a story to waste.
When you say role play, is that the one where you go online, you write a chapter and somebody kind of shadows you or something, and they write
You're the first person to know that. You were the first person to know that, and I've done like 100.
I do get around.
No, nobody. Every time I have a host, they have no idea what it is. Never. So yes, that's exactly what it is. And through the role play, we have about 100 plus issues written. And because
Nifty.
of that,
Nifty.
Yeah, 45 of those issues is series 1. So this series will be first, and it's 5 books, different issues per each, but it's a continual story. So it's 45 issues for the first series. We are releasing issue 9 now on Kickstarter, March 4th. And we do have, we're in the middle of drawing issue 14. So we're pretty far ahead.
How'd you get into this? Aside from the role playing, I mean, did the role play say, "Oh, I'll make a comic book," or somebody said, "Hey, you can make a comic"?
Well, after we had the first 45 issues done, and it was one series, I didn't want to waste it, but the way we wrote it, because we wrote it in role play form, you can't really release it as a novel. And we thought about it. We got an editor, and the editor's like, "You'd have to merge them," and we didn't want to ruin the story, and we didn't really care about, making the money or anything. So we're like, no, forget it. We'll just keep it for ourselves. So what I did was I said, oh, why don't I print it for us, like on lulus.com? You just print it yourself. I said, let me find an artist, and I'll get a cover made just for us. And so I found there's so many artists, and I was like, oh, they're kind of cartoony. Do you want cartoony? Do you want realistic? And my co-writer said, cartoony's fine. And I don't know, like a light bulb went off. And I was like, well, if you don't mind cartoony, I can make a comic book. And I said the infamous words that I'll never forget. How hard can it be to make a comic book? It's the hardest thing I've ever done. But I didn't know that at the time. And I didn't know how expensive it was either. I just thought it would be really cool to see my characters. And then I was on the hunt to find the comics.
How long did this endeavor start?
About 14 months ago.
14 months ago. And how long did you spend writing it on roleplay?
By the time we started this, it was about 2.5 years. This is 3.5 years now. Like this month is 3.5 years. So yeah,
it was. That explains why you have 100 issues worth.
Yeah. And we're still writing. I just wrote a chapter yesterday. It's like I said, it's a long series, but it's 3 series. We have series 1 is 45 issues. Series 2 is 30 issues. They both have like endings. Like it can continue, but it can end, and we're happy-go-lucky. And I just started series 3, and we're like 10 issues into that. Now the thing that's a little bit unique about our story is because we did it through role play, the 2 main characters, their thoughts and speech are from 2 different people. So I write the story, and I write everything Serafina, and then my co-writer writes everything Draven. So Draven's thoughts and speech are all my co-writers. So it gives them a little bit unique personality.
That's super interesting. So if I was, have you done any Comic-Cons or anything yet?
I did. I did not like the bigger ones. I did a couple of local ones, and they were great, but the bigger ones, it was too loud, and I have to pitch my story because nobody knows me, nobody can hear me, and I'm an Italian. Right. If you can't hear me, there's something wrong.
Hey, Paisan, I hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, my maiden last name is Miniello, so that's a little more. Yeah.
Diana, so Diana's
Yeah.
my last name, so there you go. All right,
Yeah.
so if I came to your booth and I saw your graphic, for example, that beautiful image in the back, and I came up to you and say, "Where are the comics?" Sell me on it. What's it all about? What's your story all about? Like in 2 paragraphs or less. If I'm at Comic-Con, I don't have time. Sell it to me.
So I always say it's Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets Supernatural in the town of Silent Hill in the world of Resident Evil with Evil Dead and Good Omens tossed in there. It follows Angel Descendant Seraphina and Demon Descendant Draven as they try to survive against their demon and angel father, who is after Seraphina because she was created from an angelic weapon, and if they can get their hands on this angelic weapon, they can tip the scales of the war in their favor between heaven and hell. Unfortunately, it requires Seraphina's soul to activate this weapon, and that way she will never reincarnate or be with Draven again. So obviously they're a little bit against that. So they're fighting against their fathers. Now her father wants it for a different reason, but we're not telling what that is right now. But he's using the war as an excuse to use resources of heaven to fight heaven and hell, and that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good pitch. Well done. I got an idea of what it's all about. I know the main characters. I know the main plot, and the rest is icing.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little, if you can, talk to me a little bit about as you're role playing. Like, did ideas come to you as you were role playing, or was it like I had this idea, I need to insert it into the story, or was it sort of a puzzle piece evolutionary thing? How would you describe the story evolution?
Oh, it was so puzzle piece, you have no idea. We would come up with an idea and we would jump to it and start writing that scene, and then we would connect it to the story, and then we'd at one point I think we were working on 3 different books at one time just because we were so excited about these pieces, and then you put it all together and you're like, how did we get 5 books? So right now I think we're working on we've narrowed it down the last 2 weeks, so now we're only on 2 stories, 2.5. But usually we're like 4. We just get so excited. I have no idea what I'm writing when I sit down. I have a generic idea, like a direction I'm going to go, but I honestly have no idea what words are going to come out of my keyboard until I start writing. I was like, oh, that's a good idea. So I always say that's my characters that are writing it and that I have no idea what's going on.
I gotcha. Yeah. So, and how are you doing with the comics so far? Is it just in the printing stage, or is the Kickstarter to get it out further, or the Kickstarter to get it printed? That's a big question.
So it's actually already printed.
Ooh,
and I always want to have the issue in my hands before I start the Kickstarter, because that way I can send it out a day or two after the Kickstarter ends. So everyone gets their issue right away, usually within a week. We are, like I said, we're releasing 9, but we're in the middle of drawing 14. So we are 5 issues ahead.
That's great.
Yeah. So the Kickstarter is to hopefully get some funds back so I can keep paying it. But my artist is just phenomenal. Jonas DaCosta, he is very fast. He's a machine. When I first met him, he had never done a comic book before. A paid, for paid comic. He did his own, but not, never released it, paid for it, sold it, anything. So this is the first time he's paid to do comic books. And he quit his job 2 issues in to do it. So I kind of was like,
oh my God.
He never said I had to keep going, but I kind of felt like if I don't keep going, he'll have to find a job again. And then I might lose my artist, and I love my artist. So I was like, let's keep going. And my husband said the infamous words, go all out for 2 years. And I was like, you're going to regret that. But so I've gone all out for 2 years. 2 years this October will be my 2-year anniversary. Halloween is my 2-year anniversary. So we're about a month.
Congratulations for your persistence.
Thanks.
So if all goes well, this should air on March 1st. When does your Kickstarter start?
6 p.m. Eastern time, March 4th.
March 4th. Okay, so it'll be good timing. So I'm going to, for all you watching now, I am going to leave all the links to her Kickstarter and her other pages where you can look at her books, find out some more information too below. So that will be there.
Yeah.
And what can some of the people expect as like tiers for donating? You know, the gifts and stuff like that. What can they expect?
We are full of merch. I have been called the Queen of Merch.
The Queen of Merch. I like that.
Yes, we
get
have
a shirt. Get a shirt.
Yeah, so we have plushies. These are our hellhounds.
Oh, come on. That's great.
Yeah, we have this is our Anubis plushie, which is our new plushie. He's phenomenal, one of the best. I have a zombie mental patient from our story. You can get your any date or number you want in the back. But the jacket actually comes off. So and then we have our giant salamander that is an homage to, if anyone knows Resident Evil 2, these are the lickers from Resident Evil 2. These are our homage. And then we have a couple other ones. They're skeleton birds from issue 3, which was very popular. So with that, we have 3D statues. We have about 2 of those. We have gems. We have metal covers. This is a metal cover for, I have to still get the new one, but this is 8. He's, by the way, an artist that worked for Marvel, DC, IDW, Blizzard, Capcom, and he did the internal pages for Injustice. But the reason why I picked him, he did the pages for Resident Evil comic book, so I had to have him.
Of course, that makes sense.
Yeah. So
all that stuff's available at different tiers of donation.
Yeah.
Or is it like a massive donation? We can get it all for like a ridiculous amount, or
our tiers range from $5 to $500, and there's like 30 of them. So
that's good. That's good.
And then always check the add-ons too, because we have coloring books, stickers, magnets, all that.
I heard of people add-ons.
Yeah, there's a lot of add-ons that people have to go through. We have Legos. We have we've got a lot of things going on. But we have used to get made fun of when I first started. Like, why do you have so much merch? And my answer is always because I wanted it, and now it's tax deductible. But yeah, and then after they all made fun of me, they started copying me. So ever since I came out with all these plushies, they started being like, I want a plushie, and they had to make their own plushie. So I'm starting a trend here.
Let's hope so. Let's hope that Anubis is just kick ass. I mean, literally, that Anubis is the best.
He's phenomenal. I mean, he's all embroidered.
He's really nicely detailed for a plushie.
Yep, we have a 3D staff. His outfit is just for his legs, his claws. He's just, I love this guy so much.
I think him and Patient Zero are my favorite.
Yeah.
I think those 2 of my favorites for sure.
Yeah.
So where do you I mean, it sounded like it started off as like a sort of like a fun thing to do, then it kind of turned into an earwig, then it turned into a passion project. Now it's like an obsession, which is all good things. I'm saying them all because I have my own obsessions.
I actually have that Marvel, the picture you have on the side there. Yeah.
So anyways, my question would be is like, now that you're at the stage where it's like, you're getting pro artists, and you may probably have to, you don't have to tell, but probably have to do some, out of pocket costs for something to make, and you're starting Kickstarter to get it going. My question, with all that in mind, is there an end game for you? Or are you thinking more in terms like, well, in a year I'll be here, then I'll think about the next year?
So the series 1 will take a while. It's already written, so I know where it's going, and we're almost halfway there. We're on issue 14. I unfortunately right now, because of I don't have enough backers, I think, that it can support it monthly. My Kickstarter is every other month. But my goal is to eventually have it monthly so that I can release it monthly and all that fun stuff. So it's going to be a while because I think we're having 7 Kickstarters this year. It only brings us into book 3, and book 3 is 10 issues. So I'll still be here in a couple of years, still doing series 1. If it's popular enough and we've got the readers, we'll start series 2. If not, we'll end it at series 1. It has a great ending. There's so much cool stuff in series 2, so I'm hoping we can do it. But if I only get series 1 done, I'm happy. That's a huge accomplishment. So you're saying you won't be ready when HBO comes out saying, we'd like to turn this into a cartoon, Corissa. Let's talk. If I had my way, I've been told, what kind of movie would you want? You're dead on. I would want a rated R for violence, animated series. That is my goal.
Yeah, I mean, from all the artwork, and you'll see some of it on here audience as we're talking, but some of the artwork you sent me, it just smacked of like,
Yep.
yeah, it looks comic booky, but some of the visual stuff, like I would love to see it as a cartoon. Because some of
I
the
think it
creatures,
would
like
be
you can't do
phenomenal.
them justice in CGI. You know,
Yeah.
you need that sort of clunky, fluidity of animation, right? Just to get them right.
Absolutely. My two things that I would love, that I would see as a huge accomplishment, is an animated series, and if I had my way, a survival game like Resident Evil. So
Oh, nice.
yeah. So, but yeah, animated series was my top dream come true. I have an animated series. I'm not selling it to anybody. Like I wouldn't give it to Netflix or anything. I'd have to be a part of it because everyone else would just screw it up. So I have to be a part of it.
Oh yeah, they'd alter the crap out of it for the
Oh, yeah.
corporate
Yeah.
people,
No.
like
Nope.
they do with all these properties.
Yeah, I'm either gonna find somebody that can, have me on it to do it, or I'll eventually do it myself. Whatever it takes, it's eventually gonna be an animated series. Yeah.
That'd be great. Get
Yeah.
an agent before that happens, but you're not there yet. But
Yeah. I
I
got a
just wanted
while.
to throw it at you and see how you'd react. Like,
Oh
what would you
yeah.
do? But clearly, you have your mind made up on this already. You're very passionate about it.
Yeah.
So, do you ever see? And I'm just going to throw a hypothetical at you just to randomize it. You ever see yourself like maybe doing a different story someday, or do you think this is going to be like the core thread of all your stories, like spin-offs or other characters that will
I
fit
think
into it?
I think if I did other stories, it would still be in this world. It'd be like you said, spin-offs. Like I think Anubis is gonna have his own spin-off because everyone loves Anubis. And I'll have other Egyptian gods in it and stuff. So I think that would probably be something that I may or may not be working on. So I think I'd always be in the world of Worthy Chaos. But yeah, I could see Anubis having his own story.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, just hearing some of the elements and stuff too, I can see where the sort of supernatural influences
Oh yeah.
can be picked out. So if you guys like supernatural, you're probably going to be a natural for this one.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
just like you know. But are you planning on doing any cons soon, or?
So this year I didn't do as many as last year because they're exhausting. But I am going to be in Nashville, Tennessee, for the Nashville Comic-Con. It's going to be June 1st and 2nd at the Nashville Fairgrounds.
Okay.
It's my favorite. It's big enough to bring in some good stars, but not so busy that it's overwhelming. And I like that.
Yeah, if we deviate for just a second, I agree with your sentiment. I just went to Boston Fan Expo last year, and I hadn't been around to Boston Comic Con in 2 years. So, and then I went to this one. It was like it's kind of like what you said. It was very noisy, overcrowded, and I think one of the things that broke my heart about it was that it was so corporatized.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot of smaller conventions you go to, it's almost like a garage sale. It's just so random. Even Artist Alley has a lot of great talent and stuff. But these bigger cons, they get a little disappointing for
yeah. I mean, I went to Lexington and it was like 3 buildings, and it was like it had so many big stars that it was just so distracting, and it really takes it away from the comic book. I mean, I like stars too, but I feel like they kind of need their own thing because they're not in comic books; they're in movies. So you're taking away the joy of the comic books, and it put comics book second. The Comic-Con is putting comic book second, and that's really sad. That's very sad.
Well, a lot of expos today really just focus pop culture in general. So they'll include video games, movies, TV, comic books, novels, TV shows, blah 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 blah, so on and so forth. Last note on that subject, so we can get back to you because you're the reason we're here. But the last subject is the one thing I always appreciate, no matter how big or small a con I go to, is the cosplay. I love the effort, just like creators like yourself, they put a lot of heart and soul and life into what they create, and I am done with that subject. Let's continue on with you. I apologize for that. On this channel, I can sometimes digress into a wholly thought.
I used to cosplay for anime back in the day. I dressed up as Deetlit from Lotus War and Kagome from Inuyasha, for anyone that knows those. So those were my 2 I used to dress up as.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So how many people right now would you consider to be on your team?
So obviously I'm on my team. My co-writer, Jessica, is on my team. My artist is Jonas DaCosta, and my colorist, Matt Chambers, who's awesome. And I have 2 editors. My brother, John Miniello, who I'm pretty sure is just doing it because he wanted his name in a comic book. And
Who wouldn't?
yeah. And my friend, who's my script consultant, Lori Catella, which also has her own comic book called Path of the Pale Rider, which is an awesome zombie western. So if anyone wants to check that out, the trade paperback should be live now, and on Kickstarter, and that's definitely worth seeing too. So she's awesome.
Okay. So it sounds like you got a nice little team assembled in 14 months. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. My artist, so that helps. Like he went away for a month when we just started, and my husband's like, "Don't bother him while he's away. Don't message him." And I was like, "Yeah." And I didn't. I was good. 2 weeks.
Let the man rest.
Yeah, 2 weeks in, the artist messages me and says, "I missed drawing the story. I can't wait to get home." And then he was like counting down until I got there. So he's just as obsessed as we are. He took a week off 2 weeks ago for some family thing, and I said, "Don't worry about it. Take your time. We're like 5 ahead." And instead of, usually he works Monday through Friday, and on Saturday and Sunday he wound up finishing the whole thing, like 11 last pages. So he can't take a break. He likes it, and it works out that way. So hopefully he'll stay around for the whole thing.
I don't know if I missed it. I apologize if I do. Do you have a separate penciler and inker?
Nope. He does the pencil and the inking. Yeah.
And the coloring?
The coloring is Matt Chambers.
Oh, coloring. Okay, thank you. I apologize if I missed it.
For book 1, 1 through 7 would be, he did everything. He did the lettering, the coloring, and inking, everything. For issues 8 through 12, we have, I forgot, our letterer, SK, who's phenomenal. He joined in for issue 8, and Matt Chambers joined in for coloring issue 8 through 12.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I mean, you got an impressive little staff there for this role-playing whatever turned passion project. That's pretty good. And you're all the way up to merch. You're on your Kickstarter. How many Kickstarters have you done for this?
8. I think we've had 8. Yeah.
And something you told me off before we went on, and I hope it's okay if I repeat it, but you've done 155 interviews.
Yes, last year and this year. That was last year. This year I've done like 20. So I'm started over my number, but yeah, 155 just last year. It's the only way I know how to get my story out there, because if it wasn't for people like you, which we really, really appreciate, no one would even know I existed. So you guys are awesome to do what you do for us indie creators, because
well, that's kind of the point, because indie creators become famous creators, and then we get favors.
That's right. You could be like, so I knew that when.
when you're all famous, it's like, "Hi, I'm Tony. Remember me? I just wanted in the new biz."
There you go. Exactly. You know it.
But no, seriously, yeah. I mean, I think as artists, we're just here to help each other. That's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Which is why on the channel, aside from doing the panels, I do this segment where I interview creators, because we are here for each other. We have to prop each other up, lift each other up, and say, "You're doing great. Don't stop. Even though the world may want to beat you down, you're doing something special. Keep it going." Because that's what we all want to hear as artists, right?
Yep.
I mean, I've done a comic book. I'm a musician primarily. I have a film company. So yeah, I mean, getting beat down is part of the job, is my opinion. So it's nice to get in there and say, "Hey, you're doing something special. Keep it up."
Thank you. And it's cool that you do music, because we had 2 songs made for our story. So on the add-ons, you can there's 2 stories. Each book has a new story. So it's like $3. You download it, you get the instrumental and the vocal version, but the lyrics are based on our story. So
that's great.
Yeah. That's by our music is by Permissible Indulgence. And they have their own website, and they're awesome. And they're new too, but they're getting themselves out there. So it's tough. It's tough for all indie people to get out there. So it is good to support each other, like you said. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so before we get off, is there anything else that you want to touch upon or get out to the audience members who may watch this, and any final messaging? Or
so 2 things. One thing, definitely, this is a very action-packed comic. It's very fast-paced. So if you don't like action or fast-paced, it probably isn't for you. But if you don't mind action and pretty much nonstop action, but there is character development. Of course, they work together, and it's very important that they do. But it is. I've been told by only one person seemed to think it was too fast paced, but Worthy Chaos is in the name, so it's the chaos is there. The other thing is to find us on Kickstarter. Links are great, but just search Worthy Chaos, and we're the only thing that pops up. You can see all our Kickstarters. We're always on there, either in a pre-launch or a live, so it always helps to find us on there. So, and for anyone that is interested, we have a hardcover out too. So our hardcover will be on the Kickstarter. It's issues 1 through 7, which is 222 pages for $40, 39 actually. And then, yeah, and then so it's a beautiful book. It's we had a DC artist, Ken Hunt, do the front and back. It was colored by Cece Dela Cruz from Lady Death Universe, and it's a really great full color, glossy.
Oh, there you go, people. Teaser.
Gorgeous. Yeah. So yeah. So you guys can find me anywhere. Facebook, Corissa Grant, or Worthy Chaos. We have a group that you
have a YouTube channel.
Yep, Worthy Chaos on YouTube, and we have
put that one down in the link too, guys.
And we have a Facebook group that all indie people can post. We have about 711 members. You can post your podcast, your Kickstarters, your commissions, your art, whatever you want to get out there. We like to support, like you said, all indie creators, and I'm very big in the community. I like to, not big, but I like to be a big part of the community and get out there, because we're not competition. We're all supportive of each other, and
I love that sentiment. Thank you. That's a great sentiment. I believe that exactly. The room for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're at different teams.
Yeah. We back each other. We read each other's comics. We support each other, and it helps to be there for each other, because no one else is.
Oh, that is phenomenal, Corissa. Well, I can see that the passion just glowing with you. The intensity for this project just shines right through you in your smile. It is very obvious, and it should be obvious to anyone watching this. So, guys, get to a Kickstarter. Click those links. Mash those tiers of donations, and get some cool swag while you're at it. Because that's what we're all about, guys. Swag.
That's right.
Well, Corissa, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come onto Nerds and Geeks and educate us on this worthy chaos of a journey you've been on.
Well, thanks for listening. And like I said, I really appreciate it. And I obviously love talking about my story. So any chance I get, I love to talk about it. So
well, you should. Never let them silence you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.
We hope you've enjoyed today's interview. If you have, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, check my online store where cool swag with artwork done by yours truly. Also, too, in the coming weeks, look for Nerds and Geeks trivia coming soon. Thank you, and stay cool.